Hey everyone, I'm Keon. Thank you for tuning in to our YAP session. I would like to thank PCHR for giving us this opportunity. And I'd also like to thank them for bringing in three specialists for conflict mediation and also gun violence preventions. We have three amazing interviews. It's really intriguing. And we have a roundtable. So let's dive in.
Hi, hello. I'm Samia. I'm here with Randy Decay, the Deputy Director of Community Relations Divisions of PCHR. I'm here with Keon as well.
Hey.
We're here to talk about the conflict and how does the conflict resolution help with the gun violence. So, Keon.
Okay, when dealing with conflict, what long term goal do you hope to achieve?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm appreciate the opportunity to talk about and answer some of your questions. With respect to our long-term goals for the PCHR, um, long-term, we would really like to basically work ourselves out of business. In other words, to teach people how to resolve their conflicts in a peaceful way, so that we don't need to be around. But at least since conflicts always occur and it's a natural thing, if some people get stuck, that we can provide some service to help them resolve it before it gets any worse.
And like, what skills specifically do you use when you deal with conflict?
Typically, we offer people um, mediation. We have a small team who are trained in mediation and have done plenty of mediations throughout the years in neighborhoods, in schools, organizations, to help people talk out their problems with what we call a neutral third party. Sometimes people don't want to sit and come together, or maybe one of the people, um, don't feel that needs to mediate. They just want some skills on how to resolve their conflict. So maybe we'll uh, give them some resolution 101 trainings to figure out how they want to resolve their conflicts, or what we call conflict coaching. In other words, sitting one on one with them to really process out what the conflict is and how they want to best resolve it. And then there's other means, like we offer ways of just being an information resource. Maybe they just need more information on a particular law, or um, uh, just where to get some additional help, so we can refer them out for other assistance.
Okay. Samir, do you have any questions?
Actually, yes. Can you share a success story where your agency made a measurable or differences in regarding to gun violence or restoring relationships?
Sure, that's what we always strive for. And I remember one of my team had built a relationship with a school that in an area that he works in, and that school had reached out to him because there were growing violence and conflicts in that school among the students. It got to the point where uh, parents of these students would come up and escalate the conflicts even further. So he worked with the school in a variety of ways. First, offering mediation, and sat down with the students and the parents and mediated the conflict out. Then he offered trainings for the students. So he went in a few times to do conflict resolution 101 trainings, but also talking specifically about the importance of it to prevent violence and gun violence. It was an ongoing relationship, and from what I remember, the principal's um, feedback was that it was very overall positive, and it helped change the sort of the climate atmosphere in the school.
Okay. Do you think conflict mediation also like decreases the chance of gun violence happening?
I think it can, because mediation and constructive conflict resolution involves people being able to talk it out. So, gun violence often occurs because there's no chance or opportunity to talk it out. And giving people the opportunity to sit down and basically really talk from their own perspective and share and listen to the other person, uh, typically would provide a safe space where uh, people can listen fully, engage, and come up to some kind of resolution before things escalate into anything worse.
Okay, thank you. Samia, you got any more questions?
Mm, has have you ever had a conflict that wasn't able to actually like help resolve it?
Yeah, there have been those times. I'll give you two examples. One, on the like, typical neighbor-neighbor conflicts. Sometimes neighbors, for some reason, have can't really come to resolution, and they've tried, for a number of years trying to talk it out between themselves. We get contacted because I guess one of the neighbors just feels that they just need extra help, uh, but the responding party or the other neighbor just doesn't feel like they want to engage. Um, so the next best thing we could do is offer them some type of the person who called us some type of conflict coaching, where we'll talk with them, have them try to really think about the conflict from a broader perspective and come up with strategies that they can use to help continue living with next to their neighbor. It's not the best scenario, but at least it's something that is offered to prevent things from escalating further. Another examples I could think of is when it comes down to what we call ideological conflicts. In other words, conflicts about someone's identity, whether it be race or religion. And I've been involved with mediating, or really more like facilitating discussions at those matters, because you can't resolve the differences between what someone firmly believes about themselves and when they're in conflict. But again, the brighter side to it is that through facilitating those types of dialogues, people get to at least have a better understanding of each other, where they're coming from, so they can at least respect each other, so that things don't get out of hand.
Okay. Final question. Besides violence and like neighborhood disputes, what else do your agency do? Like, what more do you want everybody else to know about you and your agency?
First of all, I think our agency really wants to promote the knowledge of their civil rights, of what the rights are in the city of Philadelphia. For our division, community relations, we want people to be able to engage with each other. Because Philadelphia is a very diverse city. Whether it be color of skin, religion, gender identity, etc. There's so much diversity. People tend to want to stick with their own and maybe somewhat engage, but don't know how to engage. So we're there to really try to help people learn skills to communicate with each other constructively. And then when conflicts do occur, that we are there to help provide mediation and peacemaking services.
Okay, thank you. And can you give us like any piece of advice?
Sure, I'd say that I think it's most important when a conflict does occur is to really stop for a second, sort of figure out what's going on with yourself, and really speak with intention. Speak with intention to not just say from your perspective, but also just as important, and even more important, to listen to the other person.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Randy, for speaking with us. I appreciate you coming out and talking with me and Keon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a pleasure.
So, thank you everybody for listening.
Hey. Hey, I'm Keon. I'm with YCS. I'm a youth ambassador. And we thank PCHR for giving us a chance to bring us to the attention of gun violence. I'm here with Samia and Xavier.
How you doing?
And a question to start us off is, have you ever lost anyone to gun violence?
Um, I have. My uncle. I've lost him in gun violence. I was pretty young, so don't know much about it.
I personally have not lost anybody due to gun violence. I know people that have lost people, um, and their stories are sad.
Okay, and when it comes to gun violence, what comes to mind?
Um, Dangerous. Like, it's very dangerous, and I feel like in the world, gun violence right now is at the top. Um, it's causing a lot of deaths, and that's sad. And people are really struggling because they're losing loved ones. And I feel like that that shouldn't be going on. Like, I feel like we should be able to communicate and be adults and talk about it and not shoot about it.
And I agree, but not everyone is able to talk about it because he's scared of being quote unquote punks or snitches, this and that and the third, due to social media.
Correct, but I feel like you should try though. Like, at least try. And I understand like snitches and punks and all that, whatever you want to call it. But if you feel like it's gonna be like that, then don't do it in front of everybody. Be like, I want to have a one-on conversation with you.
Has gun violence affected you or anyone in your community?
Um, Me personally, no. People in my community, yes. Um, a lot of gun violence happens around my area.
I agree. I feel as though that the violence here in Philly, it has been going down, but since the 4th of July, I have been hearing a couple gunshots even after the fireworks, and it does make me worry a lot. Sometimes I don't like being out late around where I live because of the things that have been happening. Cops stop past all the time when they see something suspicious, and I feel as though it's kind of wrong to always have to stop someone. But I mean, we're kind of making it seem that way for all the violence that's been going on.
And seeing this violence in Philadelphia, like, does it affect your siblings, your family, or anything at school?
Um, I see that it doesn't really affect anyone in my family. It only affects them in a way of where they're very protective over all of us. They make sure that we're okay. Can't stay out too late because everything that's been going on. But I don't know if it's affecting others as well. It may have been affecting a lot of people, even friends.
I agree with that. My mom is very protective over me due to like posts that she sees online. And she like there's apps that be like, did you hear the gunshot around this area at this time? And when she sees stuff like that, she get like super protective. She don't want me taking SEPTA buses because she's scared that someone might shoot the bus. So it's just like small things to other people could be very big things to certain parents and certain people because those small things to other people is just like, oh, they're gonna still ride the bus. But some people have to get to school that might live an hour away, but their parents won't let them take the bus because they're scared that they're gonna get shot up.
Okay, us as conflict resolution specialists, do you think there's any way we can mediate the problem?
Um, I feel like again, they should be able to try to talk, like be adults about it. Even if you're not an adult, try to like just communicate with them. Like, I understand like we don't agree with each other, but let's try to get like a understanding for each other. Why are we doing this?
I say that we have more of mediations with people, try to calm the situation down, try to at least talk to each other, each of the victims, what's going on, see what you can do to try to help them, give them the resources to try to help them. I feel as though that for everyone who is going through a lot and losing loved ones in this way, we should definitely have a program towards where they can come and talk and feel comfortable to actually speak about it and see where we can go with that to help everybody that's feeling this way about the gun violence.
How about you though? Have you have any experience with gun violence? How about you?
Me personally, I haven't, but I had a friend who lost her brother to gun violence. And every day she celebrates his birthday. They release balloons on his birthday. Like, it's like so, so sad.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm shivering.
No, you're perfectly fine. Do you feel like that can affect you? Not like in a bad way, but do you feel like you may feel bad for them and you might take what they're going through and you start going through it with them?
Yeah, I sympathize with her a lot. I feel like so terrible for her. I just sit there and like, damn, like that could have been me or like my siblings or
Exactly.
any other person. It could like I could have lost them, but no, it was her. No, she has to go through that. She has to go through that pain. And every day his birthday rolls around, she has to deal with not having him there.
What do you who do you feel what generation do you feel like has the biggest problem with gun violence right now, like age wise?
I seen a surgence between the age of I'm gonna say 15 to 36 recently.
And why do you say that?
Well, recently I've been seeing Instagram posts, not just Instagram posts, like literal police reports of the age from 36 to 17, sometimes 15 on rare occasions.
And I'm gonna ask the same question that you asked me. How do you feel like as youth conflict specialists, how can we try to lower well not lower but like help out with this?
I believe we should like put ourselves more out there and like broadcast ourselves more. You know, like we are pretty unknown, but like we need to get the people the resources they need and like bring attention. Like this is like a problem, but the media is like so desensitized to it. Teen got shot, such and such. I want to say the 6th of July or like the 5th, someone got shot. Like two teens got shot. There was a shootout down South Philly or West. I forget either or. And like I seen it on the news and I was like, dang, that's sad. But like it's been like so repetitive. Like at this point, you like low key get desensitized to it. And, like you can't like really sympathize if you like experience it like over and over and over and over again. You just eventually get used to it.
Exactly. And how do you feel like the youth and all the other people that don't have gun license are finding ways to get guns and use them in the wrong ways?
There are things called ghost guns where people manufacture guns through 3D printers,
Okay.
but it also can backfire on them, like the user, like the little barrel can explode, which is pretty dangerous.
What do you think, Samia?
Um, Honestly, it's kind of a hard question. Um, I agree with the ghost guns, honestly. There is a lot of ways that people are making their own weapon. Um, Even they're doing deals and stuff to get those type of weapons. So I do agree with the ghost guns, honestly.
Why do you feel like people take it to the extent of killing people to solve problems?
I believe due to social media, because I just so quote unquote killed this boy, like killed his homie, this and that and the third. So now I'm this like tough guy. Now I'm this, I'm that. I'm like I have this reputation. Now I have to upkeep this reputation. I gotta keep killing people. And now people like, oh, this is a trend. This is trending. This is apparently cool. It's not. You're hurting people. Like mothers are losing their sons. Dads are dying, and like the sisters, like they're also a victim to this too.
Exactly.
I seen like a sister. She was walking home, minding her business, but one of the gang members recognized him. Well, recognized his sister, so he killed her.
That is sad.
Very.
It shouldn't go to that extent. And family members shouldn't have to go through that if they have nothing to do with what's going on between them two people.
Nothing should get that far in life towards where you have to harm people, honestly. So,
I totally agree.
I'm gonna bring up more local. And what neighborhoods, the most in Philadelphia, do you think has the most shootings?
Well, I was raised in West Virginia more, so I don't know much about Philly, but so far north seems a little bad to me, or west. Even Strawberry Mansion. It's pretty bad around there.
I agree.
What cities? Well, my fault. What parts of Philadelphia like makes you feel like the most safe?
The most safe is kind of hard to explain it. I mean, most safe is where I work, like Plymouth. That's how I feel safe. Cheltenham, those places, I feel a little more safe.
Yep.
Doesn't really seem safe in a lot of areas of Philly.
And why do you think that is?
Well, the crime rates, everything that goes on. Um, Even if it's not gun violence, there's still a lot of crime going on, a lot of harm around there. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't want to see. Uh, there's drug abuse for a lot of like men and women out there, and it kind of hurts to see that.
And as youth conflict specialists, us, how are we supposed to address the fellow youth like people who are 16 and 15 and 17 like they're already in gangs or experience gun violence. How are we supposed to get our resources to them? Do you have any ideas?
I say more of mediations, more of
Yep.
putting ourselves out there, letting them know that we're here for them,
And
getting to do more programs,
Yep.
try to help most of the kids out there, have more programs to even help kids in need as well.
And I feel like some people just need a little more structure. Um, Even if it's playing multiple sports, I feel like that can help them get off the streets and lower the violence a little bit.
And I thank you guys for tuning in to our YAP session. Thank you for watching. I'm Keon. This is Samia. And this is Xavier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Xavier. I'm here with Karina, Keon, and Miss Sierra from the Anti-Violence Partnership of Philadelphia. First, I would like to thank you for being here.
Of course.
To start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Yes, so my name is Sierra. I'm a conflict resolution and peer mediation specialist at AVP. AVP is an organization that works to end the cycle of violence. We have people who are in the courts helping people who have just been victims or victims themselves or supporting victims of violence. We also have people providing therapy services if they've experienced violence themselves or a loved one of theirs has. And then they also have the youth services team, which is what I'm a part of, and we work in schools. I teach conflict resolution skills to students all throughout the city, mostly West and Southwest Philly though. And I am originally from DC. I moved to Philly when I went to Temple University, TU, and I got into the work. I lost some of my friends to violence when I was younger, so I was always passionate about this type of work. And yeah,
I like that.
Okay, so and what you did, what felt like the biggest accomplishment?
the biggest accomplishment so far. I mean, honestly, just seeing the growth of my students is the biggest thing for me. There's students that I have worked with during the summer, for instance, and then I check in with them in the school year, and they're telling me about some conflicts that they were in, and if they acted like how they did when I first met them, it would have went one way, but now, they getting into less fights, they're handling things better, and that's always the best for me to hear, that they're growing and that they're able to respond to conflict better.
Hey, that's so tea.
That's the
Yeah.
best thing.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Has there ever been a conflict that involves, like a fight with between two students that you weren't ever able to get a hold of, that you weren't able to handle?
I think there's definitely been an instance where I felt like I wasn't the best person to do it. So I had two boys in one of my groups. They just were not seeing eye to eye at all. And it definitely was escalating. And I tried, but then I had to pull in another guy on my team, and they responded to him a lot better. I think it's just sometimes you're not the person that can get through to someone, and I understand that. They've definitely responded to a male influence, and so yeah, that was. But I learned a lot from that because it's like I can't be a hero to everyone.
Right.
Everyone just has people that they connect to and some people that they don't, and I try to be there for the ones that I can. And if they're not receptive to that, then you know
Yeah, and
I
that,
find
that
someone
makes
who
that
is.
makes a lot of sense because sometimes some
Yeah.
people can't see eye to eye and they need another influence.
Right,
So
right,
I
right.
understand that completely, and I like the way you handled that.
I try. I try.
So how did you deal with it at first? Like before you got your other partner, like how did you try to get through it?
I think honestly, I was trying to force it. Like I kept trying to sit down with them and trying to get them to just see where each other was coming from. Because for me, a neutral person, like I could see it both ways, right? But when you're in conflict with someone, sometimes it's hard to put yourself in that other person's shoes. And think I was just trying to force them to do that. But my partner, he's a guy. He gets into it with guys and stuff. And sometimes they just handle conflicts differently. I'm always the one trying to like, everyone listen, like let's all feel this. But sometimes people don't operate like that. So and it's all good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
When dealing with like stressful like conflict situations, like how do you like recuperate and like dial yourself down and like reset yourself?
I know it sounds corny, but like you have to breathe. Like sometimes you just gotta take a second, like, and then also for me, I used to be someone that was quick to respond to things, and I've learned throughout a lot of problems I didn't handle well that sometimes you just need to take a step back from it and either reflect on your own time, get somebody else's opinion that you trust, because sometimes it's just better to not respond right away and just give it some time for you to calm down, before you say things you don't mean and hurt people and all that and say things you can't take back.
Okay.
I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
In your work, what tactics do you use to talk to the youth, like to try to deal with it?
We do a lot of like role play scenarios. I let them create scenarios that they've gone through. Because, I'm obviously not a teenager. I know y'all are dealing with stuff that I don't understand and I don't try to pretend to. So we work through a lot of scenarios that they're currently dealing with. We also do a lot of games. I'm definitely not a fan of, like lecture style, me just talking at you. So we do a lot of games. A lot of just conversations like the one we're having today. I love just sitting down and talking to people because I know you guys don't get the opportunity to do that a lot.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important. And I'm so proud of you guys, by the way, for
Thank you.
doing this. Y'all are amazing. Yeah.
So last question: are there any resources can we go to and like we should like be aware of when we need help?
Definitely AVP. I'm, of course, going to plug my organization. They're a great organization, whether you're looking for conflict resolution, education, and also therapy services. Sometimes y'all just need to talk to somebody. Y'all are seeing and witnessing crazy stuff that is really hard to process at your age. So if you need therapy service, AVP also offers those as well.
Okay.
And a piece of advice you want to give?
Sky's the limit. I think when you're living in cities and sometimes the environments, I'm saying this as someone who also grew up in the hood in DC too, that sometimes you think you're limited to just what you're seeing around you. So just remember that life is so much bigger than what you're seeing right now. So aim as high as you can, dream as big as you can, and go try and do things that, you would normally do. And it's a really big world out here and y'all got to see it.
Okay, I like that.
Of course.
Thank you so much for that advice.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank you for being here with us today. I feel like we all learned a lot from you.
Aww.
And with that last advice you just gave us, I feel like that could push us through the world. And I would like to thank you once again for being here. And thank you everyone for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karina. Today, I am here with Xavier and Mr. David Oliver. He is in the field of branch of Commissions on Human Relations in the city of Philadelphia, and we will be talking to him about how he works with his clients along with any case he deals with. Xavier?
How do you build trust with people that has been impacted by gun violence?
That's a really good question. So, first, let me say that I'm a Temple alumni. That's where I got my master's in social work from. So, go TU. Um, but in my early in my career, I worked with the Juvenile Justice Services Center. I was a youth detention counselor there, so I was able to hone my skills to bond with the youth in that capacity, who themselves have been victims of gun violence. So I use my experience, my education, and really, most importantly, my empathy to help build a working relationship, a trust with the youth that I interact with.
I like that. I like that. Um, what are some things you teach your community that we could take to the world? Like,
Okay. That's a really good question. So in terms of like conflict, right?
yeah,
So what I like to start with is that sometimes, and I would like to probably emphasize more often than not, the outcome of not dealing with conflict properly is actually worse than the initial conflict.
oh,
So we want to be mindful that it benefits all of us to resolve conflict, peacefully and I mean, like a civilized society that we are, right? And so it's just that's the main thing that I before I start any type of mediation, I let people know that first of all, it will only work if both people do two things: recognize that there is conflict, because some people say, "Well, I don't have beef with him; he got beef with me." It won't work. So both parties have to recognize that conflict exists, and both parties have to be willing to resolve this conflict in a way that's mutually beneficial. So no winners, no losers. We both benefit from the resolution of this conflict, this process.
so how you get them on the same terms? Like, I know you done told me about like a number 9 or something like
Yeah,
that. So.
yeah. So I get them on the same page because I use this strategy where I put the number 9 in front of the both parties, and one person sees the 9, one person sees the 6, and then I ask them a very rhetorical question: Who's right? We're both looking at the same problem. We're both looking at the same scenario. So, and then I connect that to the conflict. You're seeing this conflict from this perspective, which you see a 9. You're seeing this conflict from this perspective, which you see a 6.
Correct.
Who's right or wrong, right? So now the trick with conflict resolution is to get one party on this side to see my 9, and then to get this party on this side to see my 6.
Correct.
And now we can work towards a solution.
Right, and that's a perfect example right there, so they can both see eye to eye on how exactly can we get to the bottom of this.
Right.
And I think that's something that a lot of people should use.
Right. Right.
I personally got one more question for you.
Okay. Okay.
So we're working in the juvenile detention center, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Since you work there, like, how do you see, like, do you see teenagers and violence in the streets a little different now
Right.
since you work there?
Right. That's another good question. I mean, you keep them coming. So yeah. So the part of the issue is that we code switch, right? And code switching is the ability to be who you need to be in a certain environment, right? And so you get these teenagers who are in an environment with their peers in the world, so to speak, and they feel that they have to be tough and brave, and then when they're in the environment of a detention facility around adults, now you see the child in them.
Exactly.
And so to keep perspective, when the children are there, I don't look at their face sheet to see what they're here for, because it's more important for me. I care more about how they treat me while I have them versus what they're here for.
Exactly.
So as an example, who would I rather be exposed to, like be around more? A person who's here for truancy, not going to school, but who curses me out, calls me names, treats me terribly, or a person who's here for a kidnapping, armed robbery, but it's really respectful, right?
Right.
So I would rather be around the kid who has more severe crime,
Exactly.
but respectful,
Right.
right? And so I don't look at why they're here. I look at their character while I have them.
I like that.
Yeah.
You get a personality for yourself. You don't see
Right.
what other
No,
people done
it doesn't matter what they're here for.
Yup.
You
I
know.
like that.
Right. I have a question that kind of leads on to what you were just explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had like any type of case where it emotionally impacted you, like
Mm-hmm.
you felt hurt by what that person had went through?
Yes. Yeah. Now that one is here. So yes. So the ones that pull on my heartstrings the most are the ones where I'm dealing with a vulnerable population, right? A person who is elderly or disabled, or even a single person living alone being taken advantage of by his or her neighbors. The bullying, so to
Right.
speak. I pay extra close attention to what I'm able to do to impact their situation.
Right, as you should.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you. Is there any resources that the people of Philadelphia should be aware of, just in case of like they ever have a case something like this that they feel like they can't go to nobody else, that they
Right.
need somebody to talk to? Is there any
Right.
website they can look up,
Right.
or someone they can call?
That is a good question. So now, and I apologize ahead of time because it slips from my mind, but there is actually a 3-digit number that the city has resources available. 211 is right. 211 is a really valuable resource that one could use their mobile device to access a litany of services within the city.
Right.
Right. But let me say this to answer your question. The most valuable resource that we have is each other,
Yes.
right? That's the human resource can't be replaced by AI or anything else.
Exactly.
We really, really, really need to rely on one another. And so real quick, when I talk to the kids at the Youth Study Center, I'm 50, right? So, and I talk, let's say I'm talking, how old are you?
16.
I'm talking to a 16-year-old, right? In 20 years, you'll be 36.
Exactly.
I'll be 70. So you know how badly I'm going to need him to be a good 36-year-old person
Yeah.
at 70 years old? So it benefits me. So it's kind of self-serving for me to pour into the young people because they're going to be the ones who run everything.
Exactly.
So at 70 years old, I'm a walking lick, as the kids say. So I need you to be a good person. I need you to be sound in mind and processing in your thought process. So it helps. We need each other. And so that's what the answer your question, the human resource is the most valuable resource, but there are other services available.
Right, and that's a good example. I like everything you just said.
Thank you.
Well, on the other note, thank you for coming out here and telling us this, this information, and you taught me something that I never knew. Like, this is something I'm gonna hold with me forever.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm gonna take this everywhere.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you guys for tuning into our YAP session. It's really important that you guys reach out to these resources. They're not here just to be here. They're here for you to reach out, for you to contact, for you to express how you feel. You can't always keep everything to yourself. You need someone to talk to. So I advise you to reach out to these many resources. And if you ever need help, if you see any of us on the street, just approach us. We're here to talk and we're here to listen. Thank you.